Journalist and Sun columnist Dave Wooding is back with us. Dave, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Ian.
Nice to have you with us as ever.
Pleasure.
Let's start with that story. We now know, as of this morning, the breaking news, 32-year-old man charged with 10 counts of attempted murder after a mass stabbing on a high-speed train. Let's have a listen to one eyewitness account who's talking about the horrifying scenes on Saturday.
They were making their way through the carriage to get away from the incident, from the suspect. They were extremely bloodied. That person ended up, when we pulled in, they were basically on the floor. We couldn't progress further down the train away from the suspect because that person ended up collapsing on the floor. So they were taken into an ambulance pretty much straight away.
And horrific for anybody who had to witness anything like that. Let's just hear a word as well, Dave, from the Mayor of Cambridge, who's called for tighter security measures in the light of this horrendous attack.
Quite often when you go to train stations at night or in the evening like this was, you see the gates open, don't you, all the time. And I doubt this individual actually bought a ticket, right? I mean, I'm speculating. But maybe if we had better security at train stations where gates were consistently closed, where there are access gates, maybe that would reassure people.
And Dave, it's interesting because you often wonder, is this about, do we just need more personnel? As the Mayor of Cambridge said, do you need more people manning the barriers, more guards in carriages? Not that they could ever be in all of the carriages if there were 18 of them on a long train. Or do we just have to sadly write this off, that once in a while the human gene pool will throw up undesirable people, whether it's because of a mental health illness, whether it's because of political reasoning, but once in a while bad people will do bad things?
I think it's a bit like the plane crash theory, and we all travel on planes to holiday, and then we're horrified when one crashes. And the vast majority of the massively overwhelming majority of flights are perfectly safe. I think that's the same with the train journeys. How many train journeys are going on every day we hear nothing about? And this one makes the news because something horrific happens. But nevertheless, you still get these moments on trains, particularly on late night trains, where you feel uneasy, or you get some loud, aggressive, slightly bonkers person making a noise on the train, and you worry whether he or she is going to pull out a knife or start causing havoc. And I've seen cases where people have moved to the next carriage because somebody's just been talking a very loud voice and looking a little bit unstable. And yes, we all worry about that sort of thing. I don't know what you can do to prevent it, because it would put the cost of train travel through the roof if you had a guard in every carriage.
Of course.
So, you have to try and get a balance. And I have to say, I think the staff yesterday on this train behaved brilliantly. I mean, first of all, you had the man in the buffet car who put his life on the line, is critically injured as a result, undoubtedly saved many lives, going above and beyond the call of duty in his job. And then the train driver, Andrew Johnson, who was in the Royal Navy for 17 years and served in Iraq, who quickly thought that we should phone on ahead and get the train on, because it would have sped through Huntingdon, and he called on and made sure that the points were changed to get it onto the platform so he could get there quickly. So the staff behaved brilliantly, and the police. So luckily, everything.
And had that train driver not had that foresight, then God knows what might have happened. I mean, this could have been so much. I mean, as if it's not bad enough as it is, with multiple victims of stab wounds, and people in very life-changing and threatening positions now because of this. But that could have been 10 times the story had the train not been able to get to a station as the driver changed course so that could happen.
Yes, I don't know about you, Ian, but I was talking to my wife about what would you do in these circumstances? There were people who locked themselves in the buffet car and pulled the shutters down. There were others who were looking for ways to defend themselves. I mean, do you grab a bag when you get on and use that as a shield in some way? And in the same way we were talking about flights before, when you get on an airplane, you're always instructed to look for the nearest exit so that in the very unlikely event of any need to escape quickly, you know where to go. I wonder whether people will actually start thinking this on trains. What can I grab hold of? Where can I run to? Where's the exit? Because people are undoubtedly unnerved by this, and it's not just, you were talking earlier, Ian, about rising crime and that the statistician may prove you wrong, but there is an overwhelming feeling that Britain is in the grip of some kind of crime wave where people, for various reasons, terrorism, religious reasons, and sheer madness, are attacking innocent people for no apparent reason in public. And that is a fear that is rapidly sweeping the country, which is, I think, one of the explanations as to why they were quick to tell us the nationality of these people, to try and wipe out the fact that is it a migrant.
Well, that was kind of post-Southport, wasn't it, where that became, and has since become not quite default everywhere, but certainly it seems that the police are quite quick at getting that information out there. I never know quite what that alleviates, though, Dave, because, I mean, you could argue that it might go the other way if you do get information out there and it appears to be somebody with a foreign name or the wrong colour or something. Does that mean people are going, oh, it's OK, we can riot now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think rioting would solve that problem in any way, shape or form.
Indeed.
It's a terrible tragedy.
Stay with us, Dave. We're going to be back with more stories. We'll talk Prince Andrew by way of a crunching gear change in a moment. And the staggering amount of tax paid by the average UK family over a lifetime. This will make you cry. Details coming next on Talk. Do you feel safe on public transport? We're throwing that question out there this afternoon. What you expect from the media, or from the police, rather. What the elements of the new media, that we are the media now, no, you're not, that group, who want more information on things. How much is right? I mean, what is wrong with the system we have in play at the moment? It's not always perfect, by the way, but is any system always perfect? We're looking at that story too. And Dave Wooding with us, Sun columnist and political journalist. Prince Andrew, of course, never far from the headlines, Dave, at the moment. When this all happened to Andrew, and I appreciate that, it was right that he lost his titles. I don't know how many times you can go in with the boot on Andrew, because, I mean, he has lost his titles. He has lost his... There's talks of him losing his war medals or whatever it is, Falklands Medal and things like that. But I never thought he was going to starve, Dave. I never thought, poor fella, he's going to be... I'm going to see him outside John Lewis in Oxford Street, asking for money over Christmas. And that turns out to be... exactly the case. It looks as if he's going to vanish from public life and live in a 6-bedroom, security-gated, beautiful, opulent apartment in Abu Dhabi. So he's going to be doing all right, even if it's not the life he thought he was going to have. Yes,
well, the president of Abu Dhabi, let's call him Sheikh Mohammed. I'll forget the rest of the name. He's offered this place in the Sea Palace. It's a £10 million apartment or villa. It has 6 bedrooms with ensuite. It has gold taps and bathroom fittings. It's got a cinema in there and a lovely kitchen with cordon bleu staff to cook for him.
Nice.
So, he will be, despite no longer, well, he is still 8th in line to the throne, but he will be actually living like a king.
Yeah.
In fact, the king will be looking at this with envy.
Well, I would have thought so, because he won't have any of the responsibility. It's 35-degree 9/10 of the year, so it's a nice climate. It's there's a lot going on. Worst places to be. I don't think many people would consider that a fall from grace in the conventional sense, but not what he would have ideally wanted, I guess.
No, and there's nothing for him here now. I mean, he is one of the most unpopular figures in Britain at the moment, and I mean, if he moves to that place in Sandringham, he's going to be a prisoner in his own home, because he can't really go out because there are public roads crossing the estate, and people are just going to be looking at him, taking pictures of him, shouting abuse at him, I guess. He's on a hiding to nothing by staying here. So he can go and start a new life over there, I guess. Yeah. The other interesting thing about Abu Dhabi is there are very, very strict privacy laws, so nobody would be able to print anything about what he's doing. So he'd be able to live the life of Riley without anybody writing about it or featuring it. So
and never having to work as well, because I'm sure there's a stash of cash in the bank as well. So I mean, that's, you know, all put together. It's not a bad package, is it? It's the kind of thing they give away on one of those Amaze things. You know, it's like, it sounds like a good deal to me.
I guess you give away your peerage in if you could go and live over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't been in the House of Lords for months now, so yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's move to this story, Dave. This won't surprise some people. Research showing the average family will hand over nearly 1.3 million in taxes over their lifetime, including £600,000 in income tax. This, of course, as Rachel Reeves seeks the additional revenue. The findings come a month before her budget, where it's expected to announce further income tax increases. But the Chancellor, of course, previously, unequivocally, has promised us the numbers in the budget will add up and we won't be overtaxed. Have a listen to Boomerang Rach.
Our tax rises coming down the track.
Yeah, but I think that this government are making... Sorry, in terms of the ambition of this government, it is big.
But you agreed, yes, there are tax rises coming down the track.
Well, I was really clear during the general election campaign, and we discussed this many times, that I would always make sure that the numbers add up.
Can you promise the British people you're not going to get stuck in a doom loop of having to go through this cycle every year of having to find more tax to fill the black hole?
Nobody wants that cycle to end more than I do, Sam. That's why that is why we're putting all the effort into growing our economy, because that in the end is what brings in the tax revenues to be able to afford to keep taxes low.
I mean, Dave, if you wanted an example of somebody simply not answering a question, there it was. I mean, that was a masterclass in the old art of political obfuscation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was only 16 months ago that Rachel Reeves told us that she didn't come into politics to increase taxes for working people. Now we've got the highest tax burden in 80 years since records began in 1948, I think it was. And she's coming back for more in about 23 days' time on November the 26th. So, yes, this survey by the Taxpayers Alliance really does drive home how much tax we're already paying.
Yeah.
And if she's going to hit us with more, we'll need to see something to mitigate that in cuts. But of course, all the cuts that we've asked for, the bloated £300 billion welfare budget, they haven't touched that. And when they tried to do that, there was a big hoo-ha with the left of the party blocking it and threatening to rebel. So people will be rightly asking, where are all my taxes going to?
Yeah.
If we're paying £600,000 over a lifetime by a family, where's it all going? All they see is it going on migrant hotels, paying bungs to foreign criminals to be deported, and going off to the union paymasters to pay big pay rises for the public sector. Yeah. They want to see something back, the government providing something for this money and also making some cuts so that we're not just pouring more money into the black hole she's created.
Just a final one here, Dave. We'll have to be brief on this, but
Sure.
It's been revealed that a quarter of jailed foreign sex offenders come from just a handful of countries: Romania, Pakistan, Poland, Ireland and India. Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick said there was yet more evidence that migrants from some nationalities are more likely to commit certain crimes. Let's have a listen to Rupert Lowe, the MP, who said this morning that the government are failing to protect British people.
I think the country's had enough now of listening to the crocodile tears after this has happened. What we need is a government that is actually elected to look after and protect the interests of the British people. The problem is we've got all these human rights lawyers who seem to indulge their fantasies and not keep us safe. And when this sort of thing happens, I think that we can argue the British state is complicit in a crime like this, because they haven't done enough to protect our borders. They haven't done enough to deport illegal immigrants, both those arriving and those living here. They haven't done enough to deport foreign criminals in our country. And it's quite clear to me that a lot of the people who are coming in here don't share our culture. They don't respect our culture. They're a danger to the honest, decent, tax-paying, law-abiding citizen of this country. And the primary role of our government should be to protect those people, not allow this sort of thing to happen.
It is interesting. I don't know what we make of this, Dave, but, I mean, 5 countries responsible for a quarter of sex offences in terms of jailed foreign sex offenders.
Yes, and the proportion of them who are in prison for sex offences outweighs those who are in prison for other offences. So you've got about 10% of foreign criminals who are locked up in for sex offences, where it's something like 3.5, 3.8% of indigenous Britons.
Yeah.
And then if you look at Bangladeshis, of all the Bangladeshis who are in prison, 4 out of 10 are in for sex offences. So yes, I think it's right to say it's a cultural thing. I mean, if for instance you've got people coming here from Sudan, and I think the Sudanese are among that, they're going through a horrific war at the moment, and you know, my heart goes out to the people living there and escaping. But you know, you sometimes wonder whether people are desensitized to the torture and the rape and the things they witness when they're over there. So yeah, while I think foreign people coming here perfectly behave themselves is perfectly fine, but sometimes it just makes you wonder what they're coming from to our country and the way of life.
100% of a kind of cultural clashes, and I think what we scream out for is really for governments just to recognise that. Doesn't mean anyone. You'd have to be a lunatic to go, that means that all Bangladeshis or all the Irish do this, that, or the other. Anyone with a brain knows that isn't the case. But you know, why would we ignore these numbers if they could be helpful to us going forward in terms of making our country safer? I think that would be, you know, a completely reasonable, I hope, an intelligent way to move forward on this. Dave, we hit the clock. Always great to have you on. Thank you, Dave Wooding, political journalist, Sun columnist, with us here on the programme. Thank you to him.